Good evening there, ladies and gentlemen, and how are we all doing today? My name is Jason, and I am the founder of the LBP Party. This is the stream to get everybody to know what the party's policies are, what the party's premises, and where we're actually going to be trying to head for in the future. A lot of people that are going to be watching the stream to begin with are actually going to know where the party was actually made, where the idea came from, and all of that sort of stuff. Without going too deep into it, I'm a YouTuber by the name of The Common Sense Guy. I was able to have this amazing idea in free thought and free expression with people of like-minded ideologies and minds. It comes from the idea of people like the Ogre, who is a YouTuber called The Laughing Ogre. Also by people called Jensen Quinn, Captain Coalpile, and not forgetting Moz as well. Now, with that actually being said, I wanted to get into the actual idea of the reason why this party was actually created and why we're actually trying to get the final points on it. Because I will have to tell you that the party itself at this moment in time is not actually finished yet. We actually still need to get registered. We also still need to have a treasurer as well for it to be registered properly so it can go onto a ballot paper. But everything is done on the idea. We have our images to be able to go through. We have our logos to go through. We have all of this. I'm not going to be doing that all tonight. I'm going to show you the different logos by going onto the different pages, by going on to different websites. We do actually have a Facebook page now as well, which is all in the description box below. So please feel free to have a look at that and send me a message. I'll be more than happy to receive any messages and be able to take that into consideration. Any sort of extras that you wanted me to put into, any sort of directions that it would be a good idea for me to go into. For people that are not used to me wearing a tie as well, it's a case of I'm wearing a shirt and tie because I thought this would be a proper party political broadcast, if that makes any sort of sense. But, you know, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through these sets of principles first, if that's okay with everybody else. I thought that it would be a good thing for us if we're able to go through the principles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share my Facebook page, which actually has a list of principles. It has it in the notes section. So if at any time, if you want to share these principles with anybody and say, what does this party stand for? You have the set of principles that are right there in front of you. So what we're going to do is, as I said, we are going to screen share and we are going to get this to where we need to go. So as you can see, we have everything that looks pretty good at this moment in time. It looks very, very nice. A nice little logo there that Magic Bollocks helped me create. In actual fact, the person called Magic Bollocks actually set most of this up for us. So I was quite happy with that. So thank you very much to him as well. As you can see, the LBP set of principles, the Liberal Briton Party. And obviously this was created yesterday on Sunday, the 8th of July, 2018. To begin with, I would like to set out some principles that we abide by. Individual rights. Protecting the rights of the individual is the most important aspect of any liberal society, or any society that wants to be created free and equal, or has the perception of being equal. For true equality to actually occur, everybody has to have the same set of individual rights. There cannot be any collective groups that have different rights to other people. Otherwise, that's not equality. But we'll get into that at a later point. If you can protect the rights of the individual, then the rights of everyone are protected on equal importance, regardless of social standings, race, or any differences that may occur in any individual. And I think that's paramount to having any sort of society that is going to live in a prosperous peace. If you're going to try and say to me that we need to go to war and things like that, then we do, and it's fine. And we can have that sort of conversation if it ever actually arrived. But the problem that I would have at this moment in time is the fact that we are a peaceful country. We are generally at peace with probably 90% of the world's population. We need to set into stone what that means, and we need to set into stone what every individual has as rights. That way we can carry on with democracy, which we are planning to implement a constitutional democracy or a constitutional republic, are the best ways for a free citizenry to maintain democracy and be able to defend against tyranny as a whole. Because if you have a constitution, whether it's a constitutional democracy or whether it's like in America, a constitutional republic, you have the constitution that's written. And any time that the governments of their day trying to put any laws underneath the table, they cannot be passed without them being actually implemented and cross-referenced with the constitution that's written. Now, this constitution that we would actually decide to write would actually be a process of a direct democracy. So for this instance, for the constitution to be written, we would ask for people to actually get involved and actually write their constitution themselves, so to speak, or select a section of different aspects from them. And then that way we could work out what's the best that we can put into the constitution. That is my idea as myself at this moment in time. Though as the party grows, I am sure that the ideas will be more diverse and we'll be able to talk about more ideas in general. We'll get into the ideas of how that actually works later on, hopefully this stream. So moving down to a meritocracy. If we are to have any form of democracy, we need to ingrain into our society that the best person for the job gets the job of what they look like, gets the job regardless of what they look like or what they believe in. And obviously this is completely and utterly paramount to any sort of society that has any liberal ideas. So if you're going to call a party a Liberal Democrats, for instance, or the Liberal Party in itself as it was known beforehand, then it's a case of you generally have to treat everybody equally. You cannot jump on the bandwagon of trying to treat people that have a victimhood complex. Everybody gets the same treatment, because otherwise there is a disparity in the actual system, meaning that there is no equality. We need to build a society that is actually built on equality. This is one of the biggest pillars that you'll see me constantly talking about, unfortunately, because the society that we live in is not equal because of the collectiveness that's actually going around at the moment, or the ideologies of collectiveness that is going around that's actually trying to say that these people are good, these people are bad, these people are all right, these people are intermediate, and so on and so forth. And stopping with the idea of identity politics and actually realize that everybody is trying to help everybody else. It's just in their own way. This is a standing pillar of any democracy and of any society, and that's of my own personal opinion. Economic freedoms. Property rights that have personal self-ownership and the existence of private property creates the most productive societies. Obviously it does. The reason why it does this, for anybody that wants to try and say no it doesn't, is that when you have the idea of owning something that's in front of you, for instance going out and buying a brand new car or a brand new house, it forces you to be able to work harder. Going out and buying a holiday, for instance, it forces you to work harder. Those are the points. It makes a prosperous society, but it also helps the people in its societies as well, as it gives incentives for everyone to work for the betterment of themselves. This in turn means the betterment of our society. And I don't have any principles against that whatsoever. This is the reason why I broke this down. Hopefully, if the party gets bigger, we can expand upon this and make it even a better idea. Because I'm not saying that these are the finished articles by any stretch of the imagination. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, or freedom of speech are absolute. As to ban or to censor one from expressing any form of ideas contradicts the idea of this fundamental pillar of a free society. And in itself, if you censor something for hate speech, you no longer have freedom of speech. Incitement is something completely different to freedom of speech, as incitement is actually a call to action, which a call to action is a direct point of when you're going to physically do something to somebody. Freedom of speech means the freedom of criticism, no matter how much that it offends somebody. So, self-reliance. People possess agency and should be treated as such, because the idea of responsibility of self is that people are responsible for their own actions and choices, which is absolutely true. We are completely and utterly in control of our own actions and choices. Even if you feel that somebody is pressuring you into doing something, you still have the choice to be able to do that. So treating people like victims becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And again, moving on to blind justice, I'm sure that we've been through this before, but it's a case of I do need to say these because this is the first actual live stream and first public announcement of the Liberal Briton Party. So I just wanted everybody to be absolutely clear, absolutely know and understand where we're coming from. So blind justice. Each individual should be governed by the same laws as their peers without arbitrary discrimination and be presumed innocent until proven guilty by a fair trial. This in turn means that it doesn't matter about your peerage, it doesn't matter about your birth, it doesn't matter about your circumstances. All it matters is that you are a free person, and at that point in time, you are presumed innocent until you are proven guilty. No trial by Twitter on here, thank you very much. Secularism. Everybody is free to practice their religion, or not, as long as it does not interfere with the rights of others. Now, I think that's very, very easy and very, very simple to be able to understand that. With that being said, yes, you will understand that these are very, very similar to Sargon's set of pillars for his liberalist movement. I'm not going to deny that. But as you will see, they have been written in a different way, and they are the ideas that I actually have come up with myself. I've just always thought of them. It's just that, unfortunately, it's been written in that way already. But I don't want anybody to come out and say that I've actually plagiarized him, because it's not that case. It's a case that I believe in these pillars. I believe in these ideals. These are ideals that I try to live by on myself. And if you watch any of my videos, you will see that. So, with that actually being said, I feel that most people would actually understand where I'm coming from in this. I wanted to see if there is... Yes, thank you very much, Moz, on that one. I see that, thank you. I just wanted to know if anybody's got any questions in the chat at all before we move forward. I can see that we only have 2 people watching at this moment in time, which is fine. I didn't actually honestly expect hardly anyone to turn up for this. It's more of a case of when I advertise it on hopefully Ogre's show, maybe it will have more of an impact and people would actually be able to come and watch it. Also be trying to post this to Facebook as well, but we'll see how that goes. I have posted it on my actual Facebook as well. So we'll see how that goes as well. So is there any questions in the chat at all from anybody at all? That includes you, Moz, as you're the only one there. I'll give it a couple of seconds, so if I'm quiet for a while, it's because I'm waiting for a question. If not, I'll end up moving on. I really do hope there is history in the makings. I really do hope there is history in the making. Hopefully a lot more people will be able to share this as much as possible, and hopefully we can get some of the ideas out there. Even if somebody completely and utterly copies the ideas and is able to push it on, at least it's a case of the ideas are out there. The ideas are what matter. It's not necessarily the party. It's generally the ideas and what we're trying to push for. And that's for a freer, more liberal society. Back to the way it was a couple of years ago, and maybe hopefully even more freer than what it was then. Well, okay then. What we're going to do is I'm going to move on to the Liberal Briton Constitution, I think that's what we'll do. We'll move on to that now. So I'm going to screen share that. So, as you can see, the Liberal Briton Party's constitution. Unfortunately, I will have to say, though, that this constitution is not written to the highest standard. I feel that I could have written it a bit more, but unfortunately I can't edit it at this moment in time. And I wanted to get this done ready for the stream on Sunday that I was going to do. But unfortunately, because I was stressing so much, health conditions have stopped me from doing one on Sunday. And that's the reason why I'm doing one now at around about 7:30. So as you can read, it says Constitution. So the Liberal Briton Party's constitution, as set by the founder, me, the common sense guy, or as you now know, me, Jason. I'm not giving out my last name, but I will give out my first name to begin with. So, part one, principles and objectives. The principles and objectives, sorry, it's a case of, as I said, it should be that bit down here to start off as our paragraph, but unfortunately, due to my own editing, as I'm doing this all by myself at this moment in time, it's a case of I fucked up. So our objectives are to help build a society that is built on the ideas of libertarian values. So this means that all people, regardless of race, class, and gender, should be treated the same. We should seek policies to achieve this idea in the social, political, and economic aspects of the United Kingdom. So I want this to be a whole United Kingdom project. I want to get there and actually be able to hopefully turn the United Kingdom into a liberal democracy again, a liberal constitutional democracy, to be precise. That is my goal and my plan with this party, if we can get it off and running. So we need to end the authoritarian laws that are being passed to stop political discourse. For example, the idea of saying that things are grossly offensive, for the ideas of saying now that you can be done for Islamophobia when you're only criticizing a religion, not criticizing the people. But you know, the context doesn't matter, i.e. Count Dankula. We need to stop women-only shortlist and other quota systems, affirmative action for you Americans that are watching. This is completely against libertarian values that state the best person for the job should get it, regardless of any personal views. So our determination is to form a constitutional government, to make sure that the rights that protect individuals should never be infringed upon by any government for any reason. This is to give the rights and the law to the people, so the people have the power. For the people, by the people. So our party is going to have a definition at this moment in time, as I've taken the time to come up with the idea. It is a libertarian civic nationalist party. Now, don't be afraid of the nationalist party at the end. It's the civic nationalist that you have to understand. But carry on with the definition as I do describe what it is in the actual point that we've made in the Constitution. This means that we have liberal ways of thinking when coming to people and to policies. When we have a civic nationalist idea, when it comes to immigration policies, don't be alarmed by the nationalist part of this. All this means is that we believe that everyone has to come to the UK legally and pay their dues. Nothing else. That's honest to God truth on that. Absolutely nothing else. Civic nationalism is the idea it doesn't matter about race, religion, or even where you come from. It only matters about your principles. When we have the same principles, we are all equal. So generally, when we're not actually founded completely, but the idea of when we were founded is explained here. We were founded on the 27th of April, 2018, on an internet live stream on YouTube with like-minded people talking about the problems the world and our countries seem to be facing. The British section of this talk decided to form this party, the Liberal Briton Party. We were founded on the principles of libertarianism, believing that we should have equal opportunities for all. There is a lot of differences between people, and this should be embraced. And it should be, and it will be. The differences are what make us unique, but we are all equal in the eyes of the law. There is a definitive structural difference to this. The fact is that we do believe and we do like the ideas of differences, and we celebrate those differences. But most importantly, it is a case for us that we have to remember that people are different. That being said, we still believe that everybody is created equally in the eyes of the law. We, unlike other parties, know there are different qualities in people. Some are smart, some are fast, and so on. These differences, again, needs to be pushed and given every opportunity to be nurtured and later flourish. Not everyone can be a footballer or a scientist. We at the LBP Party know this well, that everyone is good at something, whether that be a trade, construction, or even demolition. We need to encourage our youth to push to their strengths. We want to push for equality for all, but understand that doesn't mean everyone can do the same job. Now, under the Constitution, when you're writing one, you have to put a set of actual principles. We've already gone over the principles of what we are actually doing. I have actually put them down a little bit more, but we're going to move down to we stand, as you can see in bold there. We stand for people to hold government to account. We want to be the party that actually wants the best for peoples of our great nation in the UK, not to be driven by ideological dogma, but by the power of the people getting better, thus the country getting better as a whole. Society is the backbone of any economy. If society is doing well, the economy will be prospering. As a society, the economy, as society and the economy, are interlinked. We believe that if we empower the individual by strengthening the rights for the individual, this will strengthen the country as a whole by helping everyone in all aspects of the society, thus strengthening the economy. And again, as I said, strengthening the economy and the society and the country as a whole. Now, having high quality services need to be equally accessible to all citizens. This is a pillar of libertarianism. We stand for small government, a more localized government, so we stand for the public contributions to the NHS, education, and the social netting that a lot of people need. We believe in giving the funding for each social policy to the individual police station, hospitals, schools, job centres, and so on and so forth, so that they can distribute the actual money themselves and put it into practices that they need, rather than the council trying to keep it and trying to better them and paying the councillors more money. Just thought I'd add that bit. So these places can have the full funding they can and spend it in ways that will benefit them and the community they are in, rather than Westminster holding on to it or the local council doing the same. We believe that this approach to social funding would be best for the communities as a whole, provide a more equal spread of funding, increasing the functioning of such services. We want to reintroduce people to their communities. We plan on doing this by making community centres, youth centres as a priority to be reintroduced into communities and especially in rural areas. We would also focus on areas dedicated to the elderly and in poorer communities to give the youth a release. That way we can get the youth off of the street and back into making something good for themselves again, rather than just being enticed by these gangs out there nowadays that just have no other way and no other place to go, unfortunately. As we should be, sorry, I unfortunately lost where I was. We would also focus on areas dedicated to the elderly and poorer communities to give the youth a release. Sorry. We are committed to keeping all the arts that keep our national identity. So I mean stuff like Morris dancing and the ideas of themselves, all the arts, drama, all that type of stuff. I want to keep them to make sure that we keep our national identity. As we should be proud of our culture and traditions. We are committed to the environment and keeping areas of natural beauty clean, possibly in some areas making new national parks or expanding existing ones. We as a nation need to take responsibility for what we throw away. So I mean plastics, I mean bottles, I mean, even if you don't believe in the idea of climate change or anything else like that, if you go around and actually look at some of the areas of natural beauty and you start seeing rubbish bags that are around trees and around grass and around all those type of areas, especially when it comes to motorways and things like that, is absolutely diabolical, even in itself. even if you don't believe in global warming or plastics having a massive issue in that area, we need to do something about it. Plastic is still a massive issue in our country, and we should be looking to lead the rest of the world in tackling this, and I truly do believe that, as the damage is far-reaching and we have to take responsibility for our action. So, let's get into this actual bit. Our vision is of a UK that has a constitutional government, reaffirming the individual's rights that every person should have, to give power back to the local areas and release the funding back to the services in the community so they have control over the funding. With doing these ideas, we think we can help bring real equality across the UK again, taking the money back out of the politicians' hands and back to the people that know where the money is needed. Instead of bureaucrats saying that we need a heart machine, we can actually go to the actual nurses and the doctors and say, what do you need? And I think that is the best way of running any business, to get the people on the ground telling you what they need to make their jobs easier. We want this to be the model that we can share with the rest of the world, because I want this party and this idea to be a multinational and international party. The only thing that you have to do is take the Liberal Britain out, as in Britain, and you can put the Liberal American Party, the Liberal Mexican Party, the Liberal Spanish Party. It doesn't matter about that point. The principles would remain. So we can trade on even footing and equal standing with our national and international trading partners. We want to be able to trade with the international stage without losing our national identity. I feel that that is very, very important. I don't think that we should go into any trading negotiations with the idea of trying to lose ourselves in the actual negotiations. I think that would be absolutely ludicrous and absolutely stupid. So, part 2, Articles of the Constitution. Article 1, Name, Principles and Objectives. The name of the party is the Liberal Briton Party. The party's principles and objectives are set out in Part 1 and are the integral part of this constitution. So, Article 2, which is membership. I think that a lot of people will like what I am trying to do with this. I will take a break from reading this after I get past the idea of the membership, because I really do want people to have some questions about the idea of this, because I think it would be very, very interesting, and a lot of people would be able to see where I'm going with this, as it's very, very important on this membership. So you need to be a British citizen. Also, is over 16 years old, accept the party's principles and its constitution, is not a member or is no longer a member of a political party any longer, is committed to giving power back to the people. So membership outside of the state. Any British citizen who lives in another part of the UK can be a member if they have their British passport or birth certificate to prove they are British citizens, as well as Article 2, membership criteria. Any British citizen that lives outside of the UK can become members by the criteria of the membership outside of the State Section 1 and Article 2 membership criteria. The foreign-based councils, which, remember the name, that's why it's in quotation, foreign-based councils may organise meeting of their party members in their regional areas that live outside of the UK. This may establish support groups for those members and help grow its membership. These have the power to hold meetings when they want, also elect foreign-based councillors, which will be their spokesperson for their region. Members that are foreign-based cannot be politically active on behalf of the Liberal Briton Party in any foreign country that would influence in any shape or form the country's political stature. So in other words, that you can be a member of the party in other countries, but as long as you don't try to influence other countries in taking the idea of the Liberal Briton Party. So, tiers of membership, which will be very, very important for everybody and does need to be remembered. The foreign-based councils. This means that British citizens can be a part of the Liberal Briton Party, even if they are abroad. There is a two-tier system in place for the foreign-based councils. These are their privileges. The privileges that the Foreign Council Secretary have are able to run political meetings to gain the representative of the British people in the local area. They are able to pass on votes of members from the area they have chosen to live, able to show majority representative, you can see what it is, area of the leadership role. You also have, I've forgotten to write this in by the looks of it, but you also just have members of the foreign-based councils. So it would be called foreign-based council members. But unfortunately, I haven't put that in there. So moving down to the local-based councils, this means that people that are on the mainland of Britain in local areas, in local constituencies, have the same privileges as the Foreign Council Secretary, as well as able to vote on local MP runners and able to vote on local council member runners. This means that people are able to elect their own members rather than a party putting forward members. So say, for instance, you like Joe Black down the corner and you think he's a really good politician. If you could get enough people to vote for him in your local based areas, you can put him forward for the local MP or for the local council. That would be how that works. But you would have to be a member of the local based councils to be able to do that. So you then moving on to the National Council. This is the highest tier of our membership. All other tiers of membership are included in this tier. Here are the extra privileges. Able to help shape policies of parties. So in other words, able to help shape the party policies as well as local policies. Able to vote on any changes to our constitution that the party brings, but there would have to be at least a 2 out of 3 tier agreement, which also includes in leadership. Able to vote on the people that would be in government cabinet, or if as the official opposition, the shadow cabinet. So in other words, when we have the idea of, if we ever did get into this position, for instance, as winning a general election or being the second highest majority winner of this of the general election, then that would mean that we'd be able to form either a government or be able to form an official opposition, as the Conservatives won just about the general election this time, you have them as the official members of Parliament, official members of government, or official government. You have Labour on the upper hand that were the second highest majority, and they were the ones that are now the official opposition. And both of them have cabinet members and ministers. I would actually give the power of being able to vote for these ministers into a cabinet to the actual National Council, so to the membership. The membership would be in charge of deciding who goes into cabinet, who gets picked for running, who gets picked for local elections, who gets picked for being an MP, who gets picked for being councillors. The National Council is the actual council, is our tiership, is the complete and utter control of our party, bringing the party into its full control of the people by the people. It is also funded by that said membership as well. So meaning that we do not need to be pressured into having other people, and other people can't buy it, because you cannot put extra funding into it. You can put donations separately, but you can't actually put it to any particular people. It can only go into the actual party itself. Right, so I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to take us back, and I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. Hello there, Mr. R8 Bear. I don't know how long you've been there, sir, or if you've carried on. I was just wondering, does anybody have any questions at all before we carry on? I know that there's not too many people in here, but it's just a question of what the ideas of government and the membership, for instance, that I've decided would be a good idea. I'll give it a couple of seconds. If not, then I'll just move on, which is not a problem. As it's a little bit hot, I'm just going to take a quick drink and see if anybody comes up with any questions. If not, I will move on. I do know that I do need to clean this up a little bit more, so I will rejig the Constitution and rewrite it a little bit and add the extra bits in as well, which I should have really checked before. But when you're on your own trying to do the whole party yourself, it's a little bit hard. There you go, politician already. I'm already finding excuses. Right, okay then, I'm guessing that nobody has any questions. No, it doesn't look like anybody has any questions, which is fine, not a problem. If anybody does have any questions at this moment in time, then ask them in the comment section below the live stream when it's off air, or you can send it to the Common Sense Guys Twitter handle, or you can go to Facebook page that I've left in the description box below and send a message or write on the wall, and you can ask your questions there as well. With that being said, I better get back to actually talking about the Constitution, I suppose. Right, where were we? Down at Article 3. Right, so we have membership rules and regulations. Our membership at all levels must adhere to the party's principles and objectives laid out in Article 1 of the party's constitution. Anyone, either MP or party member, as in membership, can be expelled or kicked from office or being a member if found to break the party's principles and objectives. The National Council and elected MPs and the current leader of the party have to have a 2 out of 3 decision on a case-by-case basis on the outcome of people that may break the principles and objectives. Article 4, party sections. Need to put my glasses on. Oh, they're there. Article 4, party sections. We do not believe in creating different sections for the party, but different points of interest. So MPs and National Council members can create, with the help of the party leader, points of interest such as youth issues, disability issues, elderly issues, true equality issues. With the help, we have the National Council membership and the local council membership. I know it sounds the same, but they are different, as you remember. The National Council is the highest tier that has a process of making policies all over the country and is the main backbone of our party. And you have the local council membership, which is more attuned to the local issues, which would take more of a control for local areas. So, for instance, in the area of Lincolnshire, where I am, it would be a case of I would be part of the local council membership, that would actually be part of trying to make the whole of Lincolnshire better and having the idea of changing and implementing policies in the Lincolnshire area. Now, if I was part of the National Council membership, as well as trying to do that for local areas, I would also want to make national policies as well to try and help the betterment of the whole country. So with the help of the MPs and our membership, we can point these points of interest into people's hands that have a personal stake in these issues. And by doing the best for their points of interest will benefit the nation as a whole. Now, what I mean by this is that if you have somebody that is extremely hard fighting for the issues of disability, why would you put them on the issues or points of interest on youth? You would put them forward for the issues of disability. The same thing for elderly, the true equalities and youth and local areas and so on and so forth. So in my opinion, I would push those people that have a massive passion for disability issues or for youth issues and so on and so forth into those areas. I think that would be the best use of their experience and their drive, rather than trying to push them onto something else that they don't care as much about. So, Article 5, the National Council membership. Now, this is where we go into detail about all of the different actual tiers and actual levels. So, the National Council membership, or the NCM, is the most important part of our political party, as this is run by the people for the people. It is even funded by the people. I believe this to be the only party that is actually run and has its decision decided by the people themselves. We do not have private councils like some parties or massive donors to be beholden to. We are the people, and so are run by the people. This is why the membership is involved in everything. It is what we are led by. It is what governs us. It is the people. This membership is crucial in making and delivering policies along with the local council members, or the LCM. As combined, they must decide on the best points of interest for local and national settings. Right, I'm just going to quickly come back to chat and see if anybody has any questions so far. So, does anybody have any questions at all? I know that there is around about a 10 to 15 second delay. So I know that there is a little bit on that. So I'm going to have another drink and see if everybody can catch up. Hello there, Voice of One. Yes, it's for the LBP party. I'm just going through different ideas and different policies. Just going through the constitution that does need to be rejiggered a little bit as well. But yes, as it's the first official party broadcast, yeah, something like that. I thought it'd be a good idea to put on correct attire. I'm not putting on a jacket as it's absolutely bloody sweltering at the minute. But I thought it'd be serious. Why so serious? I thought it'd be a good idea to actually take it seriously for a change and actually do what I need to do and show people what the party is actually there for. So I know that people haven't seen too much of what's going on, but does anybody have any particular questions at this moment in time? Otherwise, I will carry on. Moz, this also includes you, as you've been here for a while. Right, okay then. I'm going to carry on. As soon as I start carrying on, I won't actually be able to see anything. There's not too much left of the actual constitution, to be fair, anyway. So I will try and sort this out a little bit quicker. A little bit quicker. So, yeah, I think that the idea of the party is actually going pretty well. I'm getting the actual ideas out there properly at this moment in time. So I think we're doing all right. We're doing a lot better than I thought we would be doing. We've just gone through that a little bit at the moment. So we're moving on to Article 6. So the party leader. The party leader is a representative and spokesperson of the party and its NCM, the National Council membership, and the LCM, the Local Council membership. He or she has authority to act in accordance with the NCM and the LCM to direct the financial, personal, and the political resources of the party on a day-to-day basis, making sure liaison with the NCM and the LCM on coordinated of activities of information and goings on between the members and leadership, and management on all projects such as conferences, policy changes, changes in points of interest, and public campaigns, to be part of the decisions and the deliberations of key strategic issues, along with the NCM and the LCM. This includes plans for development of the party as a whole in its expansion at branch and constituency level. In performing these functions, the party leader is accountable to the NCM. So, term of office for the party leader. Any elected MP can nominate themselves as potential leader. We need a poll or a vote by both the MPs and the National Council to decide that the elected leader can only hold leadership for the term of government or length between general election. The current leader can run for leadership of the party consecutively, but must be re-elected by both MPs and the National Council members. System of election. The system of election is by the combined agreement of three bodies. On the selection process or the nomination process already serving and elected MPs, the local council membership and the national council membership, when these three have come to two main contenders from all people put forward, the same three bodies shall vote, and the winner shall be the elected leader of the party. If there is, however, a vacancy in leadership before the due time to re-elect a new leader, the deputy leader will take charge until the three bodies can elect a new leader. If, however, there is no deputy leader, then the NCM shall decide on a vote on the caretaker leader from the candidates that tried to run for the leader the last time the contest was held. If somehow there is now no one left on the short list, then the NCM can call on serving MPs to draw a short list from and vote on a caretaker leader until the normal election process can be carried out. Or the elected head of the NCM can be called as leader of the party if he or she has the backing of the rest of the NCM. So, Article 7, Other Party Officers. The other party officers are Deputy Leader, NCM Deputy Leader, and Treasurer. The Deputy Leader is to be second in command. This means the duties that the party's leader cannot attend, the Deputy Leader can. In the place of the leader attendance, the Deputy has to adhere to Article 6, Part 1, meaning all the party's leader has to do, the Deputy has to accept and be able to be Deputy Leader. That was a bit of a mouthful and it needs to be tongue-tied a little bit more, apparently. NCM leader is to be elected the leader of the head of the National Council membership by the NCM. This is a role that makes this person the speaker or spokesperson for the membership. Remember, the membership is the people, not elected members. These people are these people are actually members. These people are the people that are you and me. These are people that put money to become members of the National Council membership. These are not elected people. So for them to actually elect somebody to become their leader is almost as important as them electing a actual party leader. So it's very, very important. They also have the power to organize meetings, events, and legislate changes. This is to be able to improve the party and expand. As I said, pretty much the same thing as the party leader. The NCM Deputy Leader is an elected second for the National Council membership. This, in a nutshell, is exactly the same thing as what you would do if you were considered to be the leader. So, the Treasurer will be elected by the NCM and the LCM. The MPs have no power in this. This is done by the membership and the membership alone, and has to be done from the membership pool. So it has to be done from either a membership of the NCM or from the local council membership as well, which is the LCM. He or she is responsible for ensuring the financial affairs of the party are managed and that proper accounts for the party are kept, which is what we still need today, by the way, for it to actually be able to push forward. As I said at the beginning of this live stream, The party is basically ready to go. I need to rejig this constitution. I've unfortunately didn't proofread this before doing it, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry to say, but I'm on my own and I'm doing this by myself. It's not a cop-out. It's not a case of me trying to shift blame onto other people. I'm doing this by myself. There are mistakes because I'm human, but the principles and the ideas should be sound, and the principles of this party are it's run by the people, it's funded by the people, and it will forever be in the hands of the people. That's what the principles of this party is, at least to me, at this moment in time, why it's still my baby, my idea, so to speak. With the help with we'll help with fundraising and keeping all finance matters reported on. So this is the constitution so far. We will add to this as the party grows. Thanks for choosing the LBP, and thanks for coming to this live stream as well. Now, I haven't finished just yet. I've got a couple of little bits of announcements to go through, but we're basically finished on reading the constitution. As I said, I do need to go forward on this. I do need to make sure that I can reread it and redo it. But as I said, please have a look at the Facebook page, share some of the stuff on the Facebook page, share them around with your friends and things like that. That would be really appreciative, even if it's just to get a little bit of notice. Even if it starts other parties up that are very, very similar, that would be absolutely amazing. But what I do have to say at this moment in time is for this party to actually be registered, now, I'm now going to be a shill. I'm now going to be asking for some shekels. So please stay with me. It's not something that I really want to do. Unfortunately, the actual registration fee is £150. I have somebody that is lined up to be treasurer. Hello there, JM Blood. How are you doing, my friend? It's a long time no see. But just to go back to what I was saying, we do have a treasurer that's lined up, and I do have all of the requirements to be able to push forward the actual party itself, to register it. To register it, I need to have the name, the Liberal Briton Party, which is done. Nobody else has that at this moment in time. There has been a Liberal Party, but there hasn't been a Liberal Briton Party. There's been Liberal Democrats, obviously. There's also been other Liberal parties as well, but never a Liberal Briton Party. So the name is free. We've got that. I have logos for the actual party themselves. So if you go onto the Facebook, you can see that we actually have logos for it. We also have a header and footer as well. It's a case of, well, we have those bits done. We have a de facto leader, which unfortunately is me at this moment in time, though I don't really want to be the de facto leader. I'd rather just be a member of the council, but with needs must, otherwise the idea itself won't be able to be perpetuated and pushed forward. So hopefully that's all good. But I do, like I said, the only other thing that I need now is a treasurer. But I have a treasurer lined up that's one of my friends, and we can actually do this. The only thing that I do need is the fact that I do not, and I repeat, I do not have the funds to be able to get 150 quid together. Now, I can put in 50 quid of it. So I'm asking between other people that are watching this, as this is going to be a party funded by the people, I'm going to try and ask for people to fund the party. Now, I've left a link to my Common Sense Guy PayPal that now I don't normally get any sort of donations through that. Not really. So if I start getting donations through that, I will put that straight into the party, and I will put that into funding for the party. So once it's registered, I will show everybody that it's been registered. I will then be able to put that onto a ballot paper, and I'll be able to run myself in the next local elections under the Liberal Briton Party. Sorry. So I'll be able to put the Liberal Briton Party actually onto the ballot paper. And after I got it registered, I can also save up money to put on a party political broadcast as well for local areas and things like that, to be able to push it as an actual idea to try and get more and more MPs involved. So once I actually get registered, which, as I said, costs £150, which I'm going to put the £50 into it myself to start off with. But once we've done that, I can physically register it, and we can actually move on, and we can actually do something. Though, first of all, I will actually have to make sure that I get this constitution written out properly, and so people can actually understand it. This is the first time that I've obviously done anything like this, so I'm not going to try and pretend that I'm going to do this amazingly. I'm not even going to suggest that I'm going to be able to do everything perfectly. But that's the reason why I'm trying to do this as open and transparent as possible. To the point, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, my name's Jason, and I'm living in the Lincolnshire area, and I'm going to be trying to get the Liberal Briton Party up and running with your guys' help. And I do thank every single one of you for taking the time out to come and watch this, whether it'll be 10, 8, 6, 15, 100, 200, or even 1,000 if that ever happened. But if we were able to get people to watch this and be able to push it a bit more, I honestly do think that this party can actually go forward and actually probably win, not this general election that'll probably be coming up, but the one afterwards. I honestly think that we have a good chance if we can have a good set of momentum and a good sense of being able to do everything online, even conducting meetings online via MPs and council memberships. I think if we were able to put live streams together where you can actually show what's happening in different meetings and things like that to a point, I really do feel that we can actually get forward with this. I do think that we can push forward. I do think that we can actually make a difference. I know that a lot of people would say, why don't you join a normal party? And no, that's not a stab at somebody that said it recently. A lot of people have said it to me. Why wouldn't you why wouldn't you join another party? Why wouldn't you join a fringe party or join UKIP or something like that? A lot of people have said that to me. But the point is, for me, they don't align to my views. They don't align to what I believe a liberal or a liberalist or a libertarian would actually believe in. Apart from the freedom of speech and a couple of other bits and pieces from UKIP, that would be the closest one. But generally, there are no parties out there for somebody like myself. Generally, there are no parties out there for a lot of people. And I think if you're able to give them a genuine alternative that doesn't have the stain of being called racist, and I say stain because not all political parties are considered to be racist, obviously, but a lot of them do have the stain of being racist or a racist ideology in the party. For me, it's a case of there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I still feel that we can push forward with this. I still honestly feel that this is the best way forward. I still honestly think that we can do this. If we were able to get people back involved into politics as they already are now, I honestly do think that we have a chance of being able to put power back to the people. Whether you're an elected MP or whether you're elected membership of the party, it doesn't matter. The power is with the people in our party, if we can get it there. And I think that's the most amazing part of our party. And the fact that we can actually give power back to the people. Policies can be written and driven by the people. MPs can be selected and deselected by the people, local people, national people. This is the power of the idea that I have, the fact that everything is devised by the people, controlled by the people. And if you don't think that's worth fighting for, then it's probably a case that this is not going to be the party for you. But if you do feel that that's what's worth fighting for, like I do, and like a couple of others do, then it's worth fighting for. Then it's worth putting forward. It's worth registering this idea. It's worth putting this party forward. It's worth giving it a go. If you build, people will come. If you're able to push more of this idea out to people and be able to tell people what's going on, what your ideas are, and explain it to people in an open Discord like this is now, people will understand that you're just doing it for genuine purposes. I'm not a politician by any stretch of the imagination, and I will never try to pretend that I am. Yes, I like doing political social commentary. I do. I like doing it. I understand bits and pieces. I'm not even going to pretend that I understand all of it, because I don't. But that's why the power needs to come from the people and not individuals, because individuals can be fallible as representatives. But if you have the power of the people behind those representatives, you can't fail, because that's the will of a democracy, a constitutional democracy. Now, I've got another live stream to do as a common sense guy. With that being said, Thank you very much for taking the time to come and have a listen of what this is and what these ideas that I've been trying to explain. And admittedly, I may not have explained them purposely and I may not have explained them explicitly, but I think the foundation of the ideas are there. I think that's what matters. I think the ideas are what matter. Not how I explain them, not how people are going to interpret them, but how they're actually set out. And if you take anything away from this live stream, it should be the fact that I am pushing for the power to come back to people on a local level and a national level. I will go into different ideas and different policies at a later date, but this for now is a party political broadcast by the Liberal Briton Party. I'd just like to say thank you very much for taking the time.